let's start with a demo. I'll just give you an idea of what is success factors basically, and I'll tell you some differences between SAP HCM and SAP success factors in general. Okay, so let's consider that we have a company. So let's start with that. So let's assume that we have a company, say that the company's name is ABCDE. So there are a lot of things or a lot of data particularly associated with the company. For instance, consider we are starting this company. So the company is going to be put up in a particular location. It is actually started to implement a certain functionality, and then there are going to be a lot of data that is associated with the functionality. In sense, consider the company is a manufacturing company, so it's going to manufacture something. So there will be a lot of stuff with related to that data, which includes what all items are manufactured, in what quantity are they manufactured, how many has gone out, how many has come in, the entire statistical data. Plus we also have employees data, because once we start about, or once we start speaking about a company, who is going to work in the company? Employees are the people who are going to work on a company. So how do the process actually start? The process actually starts from recruitment, which is finding suitable candidates to fulfill our needs to work in our organization. And once the recruitment process is over, people come and join. So once they join, they have some personal data associated with them. So it could be their bank address, I mean, sorry, a bank account or their personal address. So bank account is essential because we'll have to do the transfer of salary. Address is essential because we might post them some communication like that. There will be a lot of personal information related to the data. I mean, related to the person, which is going to be stored onto the system. And this is his data or the employee's data. What can also happen is that the employee will undergo a lot of process when he is with the company, like he may undergo some training, he may have an appraisal that takes place every year to see how much he has worked for the last year. And there could be something like he could get compensated for whatever he has done for the last year. And then he could follow a particular time pattern in which he works, like some of them can work on a general shift, some of them will work on a morning shift. Again, they can get paid payroll, they can get paid for whatever they work. And the payroll itself is a separate process where different categories of people can get different salaries, and the components that they get will also be different. So
So
the
these are a part of success factor, and what is these? This is a kind of contents, or what are these?
though this is in general, if you speak about a company, what all are the activities associated with that? So that is only this, I'm just giving you a very brief
Yeah, that is
introduction.
a basic. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is a basic.
so that is this, that is, let's say we are starting a company, we need to maintain all these things. So this
Okay.
particular data maintenance is eased with the help of SAP ERP tool. So SAP initially, SAP itself is an ERP tool, which you know ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and this ERP was very much helpful in maintaining all these stuff in one place. So very much initially it was like all of these were implemented separately, like it was not through a single domain, or it was not through a single interface. They were
So we
maintained.
have to use some different softwares for
Right,
that.
right. Whatever the
Mhm.
companies felt were best for compensation, they used for that. Whatever they felt best for recruitment, so like that they were using. So they wanted to bring it onto a single platform. That is ERP. ERP is nothing but it is a package. In that package, you have all these which could be configured in the way that we want it to work. That is, we might say that we want employees to work on general shift, morning shift, and night shift. Yes, you can configure. I want the payroll to have 5 components for a general shift, 4 for a morning shift, 3 for a night shift. Yes, I want appraisal to happen differently for different categories of people, whatever the company wants to store. However, the company wants the data to be processed. However the business wants the history to be retrieved. Everything is possible to be maintained and tracked through this ERP. So SAP is an ERP tool. It mainly focuses on this, and SAP HCM is a tool which is used to maintain the HR related activities of the organization, which includes the data of the company and that of the employee. So HCM is an on-premise solution. So by means of an on-premise solution, you mean to say that, see, all these are basically data. This data will be stored on what is called as database. Database is something which is used to store the data. By means of on-premise, we mean that this database will be maintained by us. That is, the company implementing SAP will be the ones who take care of maintaining this database. Apart from that, they will also take care of upgrading it at regular intervals, taking care of the security, and anything related to the maintenance will be upon the business who is doing the implementation. So that was a drawback which led to the implementation, or which led to the transition to a cloud based solution, which is SuccessFactors. So this had got transitioned into SuccessFactors because SuccessFactors is cloud. So by means of cloud, you mean to say that you are maintaining all these online. You don't maintain this
So
in,
in so
yeah.
okay. So after that, we are maintaining this all this data in the cloud server.
That's right. That's right. SAP
Oh,
SuccessFactors is a cloud solution wherein all these database, everything will be maintained by SAP on our behalf, but the ideology is still there. You could still configure the system to work in a way that you want, that the entire functionality is still possible. But what we are overcoming here is the maintenance upgrade part, which people didn't want to do, which they wanted it to hand over it to somebody else, which the somebody itself was HAP. So people started looking for cloud-based solution. An example is your Gmail. Consider Gmail. How do we use it? We have a username. We have our password. We need internet. We have Google Drives where we can upload our documents. And how are we accessing it? Just with internet plus credentials. And what are we storing on them? We store some documents. Can we retrieve it at any place? Yes. Do we have to store the data into our servers? No, we don't have to store anything. So that is an example, or that is what is SAP Success Factors all about. It is the cloud solutions for the HR aspects of an organization. So the main difference between SAP HCM and SAP SuccessFactors is that SAP HCM is a on-premise solution. SAP was its best and still is its best at giving the HR solutions to companies. But only thing is that initially it was all on-premise. Now things are moving into cloud because of the advantages in cloud. Moreover, SuccessFactors is completely non-technical, and it's made much user friendly.
and there is no coding and all, no?
There's no coding and all. There's no technical consultants at all. With SuccessFactors, it's entirely functional. The technical and functional consultants of SAP HCM are now just consultants in SuccessFactors. And another,
So in the
hmm, tell me.
yeah. In fact,
Yeah, tell me. You had something. Go
hello.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So in the implementation part,
Mhm.
so what's the role of success factor consultants?
We will
Like
be,
they are just making efforts and
yeah, we would be getting the requirements from the business as to how exactly they want the system to behave and work. And that configuration, we will be doing it.
the same thing.
Same thing,
It
whatever
will
we,
be like that.
same, yeah, whatever we were doing with HCM, same thing. So only thing is that with
Okay.
HCM it is a more technical way. We go to transaction codes, we do the configurations. Here it's online, it's like it's cloud. You log into your portal, you do the
So
configurations.
in
Once you, hmm.
Success Factor, we don't have transaction code login.
No, 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 you don't have. If you are well used to use Google or Gmail, like you can use Success Factors. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And moreover, the main thing is that SAP is providing its support now for SAP HCM, but it is not for a long time. It's only for some 10 years more that SAP is going to provide its supports to HCM. So after that, it is not going to provide any support to HCM, which means let's say you want to implement something which is not at all there, which SAP has to come into picture. That help SAP will not extend for HCM. It is completely migrating
Okay.
into cloud. So because of these reasons, what has happened is already all the companies who have implemented HCM are now slowly migrating into success factors, that is the cloud, because they are going to use SAP because SAP is best at its solution. On premise is what they're using now, but the support is not going to be there. So the only option left for them is to migrate, and the process is already started. So almost all of many of the companies who have already implemented HCM are migrating into success factors, plus the companies who have already implemented any of the traditional HRIS are also moving into SAP Success Factors Cloud. So if you look at the prerequisites, like there are no specific prerequisites to learn success factors. Anybody can learn it. It's completely functional. There is no technical stuff involved over here. So it is like typically anybody can learn. Mostly SAP HCM consultants would be the people who learn it. Apart from that, any other freshers or anybody can just start learning this, as it is much user friendly. And uh, some details about the certification would be an added advantage once you finish your course. With regard to certification, you can directly log on to training.sap.com. The certification code for success factors is CR006. It has some 1 year validity, and you can take maximum of 6 different exams. And whatever was in HCM, we have different modules like OAM, organizational management, personal administration. So like that, the OAM, PA, ESS, employee self service, and MSS, manager self service, is one module here. Employee central. Employee central would be the basic module to start with, which is your core HCM module.
That is Employee Central. What's the short form of that?
EC. Em-
ECE.
EC.
Employee Central EC.
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 Just the first letters, EC.
Okay.
That
Okay.
would be the core HCM modules. Apart from that, you have many other modules also. You have,
Certification. See, I'll give you my example.
hmm,
I am already certified in ABAP. Okay,
okay,
and I have a 4 year experience in ABAP and Gateway and Budget Group.
okay,
And I am giving a ABAP certification training also
okay,
in ATOS.
okay.
Okay, so I have a chance to I have chance to give the certification in Success Factor also. So
Uh,
I don't need to pay that much amount. So
okay.
I need your suggestion. This is necessary, or I can. This is additional thing for me. I
Mm,
need to. I need to do this certification or not.
Actually, you are certified in ABAP, but that is different. And if you want to get into success factors, you have to take up certifications in this. Because this certification, CER006, it is certification in the cloud. You don't have to visit a center and take it up. You can take it up from your home. It is an online proctored exam as far as success factors are considered.
Mhm. Okay,
So that I don't think it will hold for this. You cannot take up this exam using that.
that is just an additional thing to
That,
grow the
that
company and do that.
that's right. Because that is going to help you to get into ABAP. If you want to get into success factors, you will have to take up
Mhm.
this certification CER006, which
That
is
is a totally. That is a
right. That is totally different. In fact, SAP HCM and SuccessFactors itself is totally different. Even though
Okay.
the methodologies of implementation are same, actually speaking, the functionality is completely different. So it is for these reasons that, and these are the different modules that are there in success factors, like introduction to mastery. This will be common for any module. EC will be the core HCM, which is a mandatory module that you can start with. Apart from that, there is position, PMGM, recruitment, comp, LMS, time, reporting, and much more like succession, etc. So you can
And which one is the higher demanding?
EC. EC is what you have to take it
EC is
up.
the higher demanding.
Yes. Sorry, what did you ask? Which one is?
Which one is the higher
High
demanding
demand. Yeah,
module?
yeah. Employee Central. Employee Central is of high demand because it is a core HCM module. So SAP HCM people, when they are migrating, they would look only for this mainly. And these are all, I mean, every module has its own importance, but also this is the core HCM module. So you can take up one another module, let's say PMGM along with this, which will help in boosting your profile.
So in this Employee Central, they are covering the half of the core HCM part.
That's right. That's right. Core HCM
If
part
if
is what we will be
if I
covering.
go with the so there is I don't think so there is a use for what you said. Success factor is the upgradation of HCM kind
Hmm.
of thing, huh?
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? So when I go with this, when I go for this certification, suppose
Hmm.
Employee Central,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
So it covers the basic part of the HCM, core back, core part of the HCM.
No, it covers the core HCM functionality implementation.
So that is usable in SuccessFactors.
Sorry, that is?
Hello,
Yeah.
hello, you're not audible. Hello,
You're able to hear me? I think there's some network issue. Are you able to hear me?
hello,
You're able to hear me?
hello, Satya.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. No, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so I need to go with this part, Employee Central, right?
That's right. That would be the one which you can take up instead of SAP HCM, because taking up SAP HCM would be of no use because companies are themselves migrating to SF. So instead of learning SAP
Hmm.
HCM, I would suggest you to go with Employee Central, which is the equivalent of
Actually,
whatever. Hmm.
I have searched in Google.
Mm-hmm.
So these Employee Central is most of the part it covers the basic HCM part.
That's right.
I really don't think so. There is anything related to success factor.
Hey, success factors is what have all these modules. SAP Success Factors is the
That I am
okay.
that I understand. That is a part that these are the modules of success factor. I understand that.
Okay.
Actually I searched in the Google that what you said employee central.
Hmm.
So if actually I'm planning to certificate, I'm planning for the certification.
Okay.
So I need your suggestion when you said employee central is good for future and all. Nah?
Hmm.
This is the core. This is starting. This is a good model.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I'm not able to hear you. Your voice is breaking. Hello. So, um, there's again some more introduction, some more information on success factors or whatever we had discussed at the initial classes. Let me quickly take you through the PPT as well. So SF is a cloud-based solution which was designed to meet the enterprise class, small and mid-sized business. So even smaller organizations can use SuccessFactors for maintaining their business solutions. And the SuccessFactors uses something called as business suite, which I'll tell you, there's a slide at the later point of time. Like, the solutioning is done in such a way that the resources will be selected according to their talents, and the rewards will be given to them according to however they work, and the maximum utilization of resources and rewarding them happen. So that is one of the strategy that the modules are done in such a way that this happens. And SuccessFactors was a cloud-based talent management solution market leader. This is before SAP had taken over SuccessFactors. They had already implemented talent management solution, and they were a market leader at that particular time. So another main advantage of SuccessFactors is that it is possible to implement SuccessFactors both as a standalone and a hybrid solution. So what do you mean by a standalone solution? What do you mean by a hybrid solution? So a standalone solution means, let's say we had discussed this process that takes place in an employee's life cycle, right from hiring him into the organization, yeah, till he quits. So that hiring is called as recruitment, and then quitting can be called as whatever, he is going to quit the organization. In between there is payroll, where we are going to take care of paying his salary. There's going to be time management, wherein we are going to take care of the times that he works, what time an employee comes. Different employees can work on different shifts. I can work in morning shift, you can work in evening shift, some of them can work in a general shift. So this is time management. The exit process, where the employee quits the organization. There can be performance and goal management, where we get to rate an employee based on whatever he has performed for the last year. There can be compensation, wherein based on how much he has contributed to the company, we can give him a hike. So these are basically the different business solutions that are expected. And by means of a standalone solution, we mean to say that we implement all of these using just success factors. That is entirely end to end. We implement using success factors. And hybrid means we can choose to implement part of these solutions in success factors and part of them in our own traditional HRIs that is already being used. Consider I am a company who have already implemented SAP HCM for the past 10 years. I'm already using it. Now I would like to move into success factors. I have implemented the entire solution. So I cannot in just one shot move everything from HCM into SF. So what I can do is I can start with Employee Central, keeping the other modules back in my own SAP HCM on-premise solution. EC alone I can implement in success factors, and a combination of this cloud and on-premise can together give the desired result. So in a phased manner, I can move module by module into cloud. I not only with SAP HCM, I can also I may also have implemented my solution using any other HRIS system. Anything else, it need not specifically be SAP. It could be something else also. Even then, I can have a combination of success factors plus any other HRI system. This is a major advantage because companies who have not used SAP so far, who would like to move into SAP, who are using some other HRI system, can now give a try. They can start using EC alone, or they can start using PMGM alone. They can start using recruitment alone in success factors, see how it goes, and then slowly they can do the transition. So this is a major advantage that SAP offers with success factors. Are you able to understand this hybrid solution?
Yeah.
So that is a major advantage because we cannot expect companies to move in one shot. We give them some time and we allow them to move in a phased manner.
Okay.
And these are some of the statistical information, like they were acquired. Success factors were acquired in December 2011, and currently now this is even more. It had SuccessFactors had around 20 million subscribers and 3,600 customers. Now it is even more. It is still 168 countries and 35 languages are supported. And some of the differences, or when SuccessFactors were acquired by SAP had around 40 years of experience developing ERP. So basically, SAP is an enterprise resource planning tool, an ERP tool, and SuccessFactors had around 11 years of experience in the cloud. SAP had 15,000 global HCM customers. SF had around 3,600 customers. So within this short time, they had managed to get a lot of customers. And also, you can see a comparison between the revenue users and the languages that both of them were supporting at the type of at the time of taking over. And what are we going to get with SAP Success Factors is that SAP had a well-renowned solution for its HCM. And here, was already the number one talent management solution provider, and it was a cloud. So combining both of this, what we can do is that we can expect the best HCM solution in the cloud. Not only that, these customers who had already implemented success factors had more likely chances to move into EC in case they're looking for a solution in the cloud for their HR related stuff. And people who had already implemented SAP HCM who wanted to move into cloud can easily move into success factors now. And again, both of them had the advantage of multi-country and multi-currency, multilingual properties, which is again another advantage. So this on a cloud solution is called as software as a service. So that's called as a SaaS model, the software as a service model, which is nothing but software. Normally we have to install it, but here we don't install it, but we get it as a service. So how do we get it as a service? Now we have seen that we are not going to maintain anything from our end. It's going to be done by SAP from their own end. So what do we have to do is that we have to pay them an annual fee. So we are a company, let's say we are going to implement success factors. We give them a fee on a yearly basis, saying so we have so many employees in our organization. We are going to take all these packages. We are going to implement EC. We are going to implement PMDM. So we give them a fee. So with that fee, we get access to our software, which we can get. We are getting as a service. We can do configuration in the system so that it works in a way that we want. All the maintenance activity is going to be taken care by them. We are not going to get involved in any of those stuff. So the software and the data is going to be hosted remotely from their location, which we are going to access through the unique credentials of the organization. So some of the advantages are there are no hardware or maintenance that is required. It is a subscription-based licensing model. It is a multi-tenant platform. So why do we call it as a multi-tenant platform? Because consider you're a company, I'm also a company, both of us implement success factors. So both of our data can be hosted onto the same platform, which is their platform. But even though our data is going to be hosted onto the same platform, we will not be able to access each our data, because every company is going to be given a unique company ID. Let's say my
Okay.
company ID is going to be ABCDE. Your company ID is going to be 12345. Every data of my company will be attached to this ABCDE. And when I log in, this ABCDE plus my username plus my password is what is going to retrieve my data. So there is no possibility that I access your data or you access my data. Everything is protected through the credentials. So that's how the data is going to be protected.
Okay.
All the releases, the bug fixes, updates, enhancements, all these things are going to be taken care by SAP itself. It can be accessed from anywhere. So you can even work from home. You can work using your mobile. It can be installed in mobile as well. It has a consistent performance and stability. So whatever may be the huge data that we are going to load, always the performance is better. It is instant. There is no lags or delays. It is instant, and the stability of the system is also more. So these are some of the advantages of SaaS model. Any queries so far?
No, no.
Okay. And these are the general overview of the solutions. Like what are the solutions that SAP SuccessFactors provides. So it has a core HR solution, which is EC and EC payroll, and it has talent solution, which is performance and goals, compensation, variable pay, learning solutions, succession management, recruitment, onboarding. These are all talent solutions that it provides. HR analytics, which is workforce analytics and planning. So this is something new. In fact, HR analytics and the social collaboration gem, both of these are new to SAP. We didn't have it with SAP HCM. So what these both are, the social collaboration part, SAP Jam is similar to Facebook. That is, within the organization, we have something called Jam, which if activated, we can post something. Let's say it could be an announcement. Instead of formally sending a mail to everybody, we can post it on our wall, which everybody will be able to be see, can see it. There can be groups wherein we can post technical things and take part in discussions. So whatever we do with Facebook, similarly, SAP Jam is available, which is for internally employees within the organization. And this HR analytics, workforce analytics, and workforce planning, it's kind of a new tool that SAP is having here, which would analyze the workforce requirements of the company. Let's say we have around 1,000 employees today, we have 25 projects. So depending on the strategy of how many projects we are getting, how much we are progressing, how many employees are quitting, how many are joining, we can predict on how much of workforce is required in the future, and accordingly we can plan steps for that. That is called as workforce analytics and workforce planning. And this is a business execution suite that SuccessFactors provides here. Performance, goals, and workforce planning, these three modules are designed in a way that you put the right person for the right job. So I could be an expert in A, but putting me in B may not do good. If I am put into A, it would give better result, and I would also improve myself more in whatever I like. So these modules are designed in a way that you put the right person for the right job, so that we don't end up putting people who don't like to do what they're actually doing. And in between there are 4 modules here: recruitment, compensation, learning, and succession. So these are like you award, or you reward people, right people with the right reward, which means, say, I have done my duty, so I expected to be rewarded correctly, so that in turn will again be a boosting for me to contribute more to the organization. So these modules are designed in such a way that the people, the right person gets the right type of an award. The designing itself is made in such a way. And then finally we have Jam and analytics, wherein the workforce planning is done accordingly. So that is the business execution suite of success factors, and this is how the modules are segregated over here. And this is going to show the support that SAP is going to extend towards HCM and success factors in future. That is, these are all the modules. This is the on-premise HCM solution. This is a cloud solution, which is success factors. So those modules that are colored in peach, only these are going to be the modules that SAP is going to extend its support for companies. That is, extending its support means, let's say there is something standard that SAP has provided. Many a times we may not be okay with the standard. We may want something which is not available already, which they have to help us. So they will help us only for these modules. That is, in future, SAP is going to stop extending its support for these modules as far as the on-premise solutions are considered. So what happens is, companies who have already implemented this, if they expect some support from SAP in the future, obviously they have to move into success factors. So that makes another point why people have started moving into success factors more and more. So these are some of the screens, the performance goal. This is how your Jam screen looks like. This is your employee central, the people profile, how the employees data is stored, etc. So any doubts so far? Mansa, any doubts? All right. So, um, yeah, this particular slide shows a comparison between the on-premise and the cloud solution, wherein whatever was ESS, Employee Self-Service, MSS, Manager Self-Service, PA, and OM, these four modules, whatever was there in the on-premise HCM is just one model here called Employee Central. So that is a core HCM module, which is a combination of all those four modules that we had in on-premise. The payroll of on-premise is cloud payroll here, and the talent management of on-premise is the cloud SuccessFactors talent here. So that is a comparison between SAP core HCM and the cloud SuccessFactors.
Okay.
This is going to be the instance. I'm also going to log in and show you. This particular page that you see here is the main page, which is called as an admin tool. This is going to be the page from where we are going to do all the configurations related to the company. There's no technical stuff here. Let's say you want to go and do some configuration related to performance management. You go to performance management, you do that. Let's say you have some configuration related to compensation, you go to compensation, you just click that node. You're going to have a lot of options under that. You can directly look at the nodes, click on it, and do the required operation. I'll also log in and show you the system, how it's going to look like.
Okay.
And this is the SuccessFactors application architecture, where we have the customers at the left hand side. You can see the customers, they just need a browser, and via internet they're going to have a consumerized user experience. That is, the system is going to look like the way that how they actually want it to be. And how what they're going to look at is the different applications. These are the applications that we saw over the admin tool page. These applications are hosted on a platform which is an XML abstraction layer. Normally, SuccessFactors had already implemented their talent management solution using this XML. So even SAP, for implementing its Employee Central, uses the same XML abstraction layer structure over here. So it's all going to be in XML. We would be doing a bit of XML related activities also. Although SAP has almost tried moving or migrating it to non-XML way. Small things will be there. We will see how to do that. And that in turn is laid down on a multi-tenant enabled database, which in turn lies on an infrastructure and storage of SAP. And this is tightly associated with the system management and the security management. Security management of the system or the data center is taken care by SAP over here.
Okay.
And with regards to success factors, there are two main things that you mandatorily have to know. One is called as a provisioning, which is kind of a back end of the system from where we enable a lot of features that we want in the system. So go back, consider the initial slide. Go back to the first slide that we had seen. What we saw here was that we can do a hybrid type of a solution. So by
Yeah.
means of hybrid type of a solution, what we saw was that some modules we can implement in SAP, some modules we can implement in others. So that enabling of few modules alone can be done in provisioning. Basically, the provisioning will have a series of nodes which will have all modules. You would enable those modules alone which you would like to implement, and under that module also you will have a lot of features. So whichever feature you like to implement alone, you would enable from the provisioning. It's kind of a backend which is mostly it's like of a one-time activity which we do at the initial step of our configuration. And apart from that, there is something called data models which we would load into the program. This we will see in detail when we start with the course. On the other hand, instance is going to be the front end. So almost all our configurations are going to be done in the instance. Instance is what we saw here. This is your instance. It's going to be much user friendly. It's available to everybody. Provisioning is not accessible to everybody. Access is restricted.
Okay. Provisioning is only accessible for the like back end people, is it? Like employee.
No, no, the consultants also do that, but it's just that not every consultant will get access to that.
Okay.
because it is something which is going to control the entire setting of the configuration. So let's say somebody does something by mistake, everything is going to go for a toss. So it is for that reason that the access is restricted, but it would mostly be like a one time activity which the consultants do at the beginning of the configuration. After that, if there are some changes that are requested by the client, we can go and enable or disable them from provisioning. We will go to the provisioning as well. It will mostly be check boxes kind where you just have to pick whatever you want to do in your instance.
Okay.
And this is your hybrid solution which you can implement using success factors. So we have full HCM in the cloud over here, we have full HCM on premise. Combining, you can have part cloud and part on premise. That is your PMGM, com, succession development, workforce planning, analytics, recruitment, you can do in cloud. You can have your core HR, payroll, time, and workforce analytics in your on-premise. A combination of these, a hybrid deployment solution is possible. So we just told you a sample case of what could be possible. Typically, any hybrid solution is possible. Not only this, anything.
Okay.
And this is nothing but, now we saw that there is a hybrid kind of a deployment. So how is
What is
these two systems? Yeah,
like
yeah.
deployment like means like proper meaning like deployment means
How is the solutioning, a hybrid solutioning is going to be done?
okay. Okay.
Ah. So now here you see that there is a cloud, there is an on-premise. Together we need the output. So how are these two systems going to communicate with each other before sending the final outcome? That is what is called as integration. So these two systems, that is success factors and the other system, will communicate to each other by means of integration. So there will be separate integration consultants who will take care of integrating success factors to other traditional ERP, whichever the company wants to use. And here there are few examples of how all this integration can happen. First option is by using an integration add-on in your on-premise HCM. That is, in case we use HCM, there is a switch kind of thing which we need to enable and do the configuration from on-premise HCM, which you can do. Then there is an SAP NetWeaver Pi which you can use from your on-premise SAP HCM solution. Again, in your cloud success factors, you can use something called SAP HANA Cloud Integration Tool. These are some of the tools how the systems can be integrated. And one more is called as a Dell Boomi Cloud Atomsphere Integration Tool. This is like kind of a readily available tool in the market which will itself speak to HCM and your any traditional HRIS system, and it will communicate to the outside. That is, it itself it is already designed in a way that it will communicate to success factors. Like
Okay.
the data will flow from SF to here, to traditional HRIS, from HRIS to SF, vice versa. The data will flow here and there together. We will get the required outcome from the system.
Okay. Okay.
So these are some of the integration tools. So by mean, when you speak about hybrid solution, this is how the solutioning will be done. So that is all what success factors is all about. So you can let me know if you have any queries now before we wind up with the session.
uh, like I just want like I'll go for now this I'll go for Employee Central main one thing.
Okay.
uh, will you suggest me any other model apart from PMGM?
I think PMGM would be good along with the Employee Central.
Okay, okay, then fine. Then I'll go for both the models.
Okay. Okay, Mansa.
Yeah. Can you just share me this recordings today? And will you be sharing this PPTs also?
Yes, yes, I can share you the PPTs. I'll share you the recording. I'll also
Okay.
share you the course content for EC and PMGM. You can have a look at that.
So that in you will be covering even JAM also.
No, JAM is a different configuration altogether. For Employee Central and PMGM, let me show you what all stuff we'll be covering. I'll show you the course content now. So those are the things that we would be covering for EC and PMGM. The JAM is a different module altogether. But you can have access, like with the server access that I give you, you will be able to access JAM. You can just go through that.
Okay, okay.
We will cover all these, the cloud, SAP architecture. You can just have a look at what all things it
Yeah.
is going to cover. So we are going to do all these things. We'll again have all these topics, the core HCM module. So
Okay.
we'll be doing all these. And so let's start with the session. Um, for the first 1 or 2 sessions, it would be a bit of theory type, because I want to give you the entire baseline information before we could actually start working onto the systems. So it will be mostly today and tomorrow would be theory, but later on after that it's going to be like completely on the system. There won't be any theory after that.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me start with Employee Central module, and we are going to see some of the introduction topics to Employee Central before you could actually work into that. So we already saw what is SAP Success Factor. So why is it used for? So it's mainly used to align the business process according to their requirement and in real time to track the information and do or perform the operations related to their activities. So, as far as success factors are considered, there are two main systems that you will have to know. One, let me one minute. This system, yeah. The first thing that you have to know is there are two systems in success factors. The first one is called as provisioning. The second one is called as the instance. So this is already what we saw yesterday, and we are going to go in detail into that. So the
Okay.
provisioning is kind of a back end of success factors, where what we saw was we'll be doing few things over here, like we would be enabling some modules or enabling features that are required for our organization. So that would be the first thing that we would be doing. We would be enabling features. And second, we can upload or download data models into the systems. I'll tell you what is data model. This is also what we do in the provisioning. And third, what we create here is a super admin. So these are the three things that we actually do to start with in provisioning. So initially when we get the licensing, that is, let's say we decide to go ahead with implementation, we get the license from SAP. So what we would be given is just a provisioning username and a password. So that is all is what will be given to us when we initially get the licensing for implementing success factors. And apart from that, we being an organization, what we would also have is a unique company ID. So that is also
Okay.
associated to us. So these are the only things that we would be getting to start with. So we would be given a unique company ID, we would be given a provisioning username and a password. So how is that? With this we are going to start doing all how is that we will access the instance. So that is the initial setup. So the unique company ID is important because this company ID will not be shared to anybody else. It will be applicable, or it would belong only to us. And all our data will be tagged to this particular ID. And the credentials, which is the username and the password, will also be specific to us. So what we would do as soon as we get licensing from SAP is that we would log on to the provisioning with the username and a password that is given. We would do all these three things. So by means of enabling features, we mean that we saw that there was a hybrid type of a solution that is possible with success factors, which is nothing but we can have success factors plus non-success factor system aligned together to give the desired outcome. So
Okay.
with this, what we will do is that enabling features is like enabling what all features and success factors you want to implement. It could be a module, or within a module it could be features, it could be some characteristics, it could be some options. Basically the provisioning itself is kind of check boxes. Fully it will be kind of check boxes where you check some items or you enable some features into the system. So it will be full of check boxes. First of all, we'll have to understand what each and every feature is so that we can go ahead and enable it into the system. So
Okay.
yeah, so that is the first thing that we do. We log on to the provisioning, we enable the features that we desire to go ahead with our implementation. We also go ahead and enable the modules that we would like to implement our so in another words, now we get the licensing from SAP SuccessFactors for to implement. Consider we get licensing for say EC and PMGM and recruitment. Let's say we have got licensing for all these three, although we decide to go ahead with employee central implementation alone. That is, first of all, to begin with, we decide to do implementation of EC alone. So that is what we enable here. We log on, we enable EC alone, we do not enable PMGM and recruitment. So that time of options are possible from provisioning. So why should we not enable PMGM and recruitment? Because once you enable that, you would see the options related to these two in the instance, and there could be possibilities that somebody starts working on that. So we just don't want to give anybody the option to touch it. So yes, you can keep yourself or refrain yourself from enabling this, so it will be kind of grayed out in the instance. So that is about enabling the features. And second, you upload or download the data models into the system. What is a super admin? This I'll tell you. What is a super admin? So with our licensing, hmm?
You said, will enable only EC,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
So if required, we can enable all the three, right? We can,
Yes, you can
if
do.
required.
Yes, let's say
Oh,
you at a time you start implement all, you are going to start implementing all three modules. Yes, you can enable all three in one shot also, or you enable these two in the beginning, and at a stage you come and enable this. You can do. You enable these two. Some features that are changes in the middle, you can come back and enable those features. You can disable some features. Anything you can do. It's completely our wish. Okay. So yeah, so what we saw is that we would only be given with the provisioning username and a password, but the instance is kind of the front end from where you are actually going to do all your configurations. So how will we get access to instance? Because we are given only with the provisioning username and a password. So that is what we do in the provisioning by creating a super admin. A super admin is the first time user of the instance. That is the person whom we are going to create as super admin from provisioning. He is the very first user of our instance, and as the name suggests, he is a super admin, a super administrator, which means he has entire access of the instance. There are no restrictions. He has entire access of the instance. He can do whatever he wants in the instance. He'll be like an overall controller of the instance. So that is why we have to create a super admin from the, because we have only access to provisioning. From provisioning we have an option where you can create a super admin with which we can log on to the instance and we can start doing the configurations. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to log on to the instance. I'm going to show you the look and feel of how your instance looks like, and then I'm going to log on to the provisioning and I'm going to show you how we actually enable these things, and later on I'll go to the next important point of data models. Let me log on to the system. So if you see here, once I click here, look at the URL. It is a sales demo, which means the server is for learning purpose. We call it as sales demo. And look at this, login company is equal to, this is your unique company ID. 1 minute, just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at this URL. Login company is equal to SF part. So this is your unique company ID. That is the unique company ID that comes for every company who get licensing to SuccessFactors. So you can, like, let me just copy this company ID. So what you can do is, let's say you are removing all these and you're just typing in salesdemo.successfactors.com. Now it is already logged in, so it's coming like that. 1 minute.
Okay, if not, that page will not come.
Right. If not, you have to enter the company ID. So if you just enter sales demo for successfactors.com, it will generally ask for a company ID to begin with. You have the option to attach the company ID along with the URL, or you can directly enter it here. So let's say I enter a company ID called AS8VT. So once I enter that, I would be taken into a page which is specific for the company ID AS8VT. So this is different,
Okay.
and whatever we have logged in is different. This is your company ID for this particular company. Let's say I belong to some other company code. I can just click here. I can write another company ID, say AS2C3, not there. Or XF part 00854. Let's say I just enter another company ID. Yes. So these are the kind of, this is the type of restriction that is put along with the URL, so that I am not able to access data which is of some other company. So here itself, the restriction comes in picture. The company ID gets attached to the entire data that we are going to process. And apart from that, we also have a username and a password, both of which are case sensitive, with which we are logging onto the system. Okay. So this is your instance. Whatever I'm showing you, this is your instance. This is the place from where we do the configuration. This is your front end. This is the place where the consultants will be doing the configurations. So once you log
Okay.
on to the instance, this is your home page. So this is a typical home page which has, look at the different parts here. There is a to-do tab where you can see the tasks that are pending from this particular person's ID. That is, who, whatever tasks she has to do. It could be reviewing performance for some candidates. It could be some approvals for recruitment. She can also finish her profile. These are some of the to-do activities. Then there is in my information where she can get to see her profile. She can see what all her, how many days of leave she has entitled for, and there are different icons here. So all of these are configurable. That icons that you see in the home page is configurable. The home page can be different for an consultant and an employee. So this would be the same page even where an employee would log on to the system. Only thing is that he will not act as a consultant. He would act as an end user, or he would act as an employee to the organization. So as an employee, we all know that we also have our own portals where we log in, we apply leaves, we do some activities like we update our personal information. There are a lot of things that we do by logging onto the company portal. So when an employee logs onto the portal, you can configure this page so that it looks different for the employee, and you can configure this in a way different for the administrators who do the configurations. So this particular icon on the top, the home, when you open this, what you see here is a combination of employee options plus admin options. So the term admin is used here to denote a consultant who's going to do the configuration. So from here, look at the option, you can go to SAP Jam from here. So JAM is a social collaboration part, whatever we had discussed yesterday, if you remember, where internally companies,
Yeah.
employees can communicate to each other, they can post some stuff, etc. So that is the SAP JAM part. This could be a feature that is common to all the employees where they can log in and do some discussion. So that is how the SAP JAM page is going to look like. You can have a look at it when the access is going to be shared with you. I think we cannot go back. Okay. And then apart from that, objectives, performance, these are all related to us as an employee. As an employee, I can go to my objectives tab and I can upload the set of objectives that are pertaining to me for this particular year. So there are a
I
set
didn't get this.
so what happens is for every year, what companies do is that there is an appraisal that happens every year for all the employees in an organization. So this appraisal is nothing but whatever work you have done for the year, you are going to be rated for that. So in order to do that, or in order to carry out your appraisal, what you can do is that you can, or your company would give you a set of objectives that you will have to work on for the current year. Let's say my objectives are, let's say I am a consultant, my objectives are to bring about error-free configuration, to work in a manner coping up to the time deadline of the client. So let's say these are my objectives, and to learn some new technology, to take up certifications in my existing domains. So these are kind of objectives which we have to continuously work for the entire year, which could be entered here and tracked by our managers from here.
Okay.
Objectives,
So
goals.
you will enter there, and your manager will be tracking that process, is it?
That's right. You can enter here and you can even maintain it yourself from here. So what I can do here is
Oh,
I can say that this month for this objective, I've contributed so much. I've contributed so and so. Next year, now next month, I can again come and give an update. So my manager can regularly track on my updates on the objectives for every month. So this in detail, don't worry, we will be looking at it when we do PMGM, that is performance
okay.
employee management. So objectives and goals are almost similar to each other. So these objectives, performance, all these are related to the employee roles. That is, any employee will have access to all these. So what is that which is going to differentiate a consultant and an employee is this admin center. So the admin center that you see from here, the drop down, the same thing you can also see from here, the admin center. From here also you have an option called admin center. So this admin center would be present only for the consultants who are going to be involved in configuring or who is going to be involved in configuration of the system. So once you go to the admin center, see here, you will be able to see all the modules that are enabled for your organization. So see here, objective management, performance management, and then you have recruitment, you have employee files, you have reporting, you have time, you have payroll, you have succession management, you have compensation, you have variable pay. So here, look at learning here. This is not enabled,
Mhm.
it is grayed out. So it means either you have not got licensing for learning, or you have got licensing but you have not enabled it in the provisioning.
Okay.
So that is the difference. So if you have enabled stuff from the provisioning, it will not appear in a grayed out fashion. But if you have uh, not enabled, or you have disabled stuff from provisioning, it is going to appear in a grayed out pattern like this.
Okay. Uh, I have attended many demo sessions till now.
Okay.
I've seen the screen like this one, admin center here, objectives. Why
Okay.
every like when I saw that learning will be that will not be licensed. Why so? Is it not so much important, or like how why?
That is like, see, normally this is a sales demo. Normally, whatever demos you would have seen is also it's related to sales demo only.
Yes.
And
Yeah, yeah.
This learning would normally be implemented for a client, and sales demo for a learning normally it doesn't it is not available so much. It's not available so much to everybody. Normally learning, if you want to do, it could be done with very few people who are specialized in learning, and that particular system would be different. In other words, learning licensing is difficult to get for a sales demo instance.
Okay. Okay.
So that is the reason why you would have seen that in most of the cases it would not have been enabled. Moreover,
Any
moreover, another point is that SAP HCM, mostly the people who move into success factors, 80% of them are SAP HCM consultants, because SAP HCM itself is migrating, and this HCM, the core HCM is nothing but Employee Central, which is covered in these two notes. So necessarily a company need not implement all modules. Okay, you're able to
Okay.
necessarily a company
Yeah.
need not implement all modules. They would just go ahead with EC alone or with other modules. In some of the instances, even these, even though it is enabled, if you open up, you may not see any options. It may seem to be enabled, that is, it will not be grayed out, but if you open up, the options will not be there. You can of course control what all options have to appear here through RBPs. We will be looking at that, but again, that is the thing.
Okay.
So yeah, so yeah, we are here in admin center, which is the place from where the consult, which is the place only for consultants, from where we are going to do the configurations. And open this up, you're going to see a lot of options over here. So with regards to Employee Central, the main thing is this: Employee Central. So Employee Central mainly deals with two things here. The entire the module itself will deal with employee plus company. That is the employee's data and the company's functions, and both of them will be related to one another. So fully the EC configuration will deal with the company's data maintenance part, the employee's data maintenance part, all the activities related to the employee and the company. Mainly it is, we will be focusing on employee and the company. That is the core HR. So for that, the related options could be seen in company settings and employee files. Mostly these would be the places where we will be doing the configurations for Employee Central. And accessing the node is very easy here. For instance, consider you want to create a position. Let's say you want to create a position. So you just know the word called position. So there is a tool search here. So just type in position. What you would see is a list of nodes with the word position on it. Becomes much easier. So tool search is an option from where you can search related to the terminologies that you know. And let's say manage position is a node that you actually want to use. You can directly click on here. It's going to take you to manage positions node. Again, the same node will also be available from here, manage positions, under employee files. So if you know the path that manage positions is under employee files, you can go and click on that, or you can directly search from here. Another option is you can make it as a favorite. So you can make it as a favorite. The most frequently used nodes can be made as favorites, which you don't even have to search or type directly. Come click here, it is going to take you to that particular node. Also, another term called action search, the one on the top here, is called as an action search. So the action search is a place from where you can search for actions or people. You can search for actions or people. The one that we have seen here is searching for an action. You do something, it's called as an action. So let's say I can even search from here. Same position is what I want. Yeah. If you know the node name, you can directly type in. Or let's say I just type for position. You can see manage positions over here. So it's like with HCM, there is something called T codes or transaction codes. I'm not sure if you had seen something related to SAP HCM or not. So this is completely user friendly. All the technical
Oh,
difficulties, everything is
like
removed.
I'm very much weak in technical, and even because my complete background is like uh, HR, no, and even HCM, I'm not much. I don't know.
Okay. There's no much difference between actually only the terminal for with regards to SAP HCM or HR. There's no much difference. It's almost the same. The only thing is that initially it was called as SAP HR when it had very few modules that were common to HR. But later on, since many of them started using it, they expanded their functional abilities and they included lot many other modules. Hence, the name just got transferred or got transitioned to HCM from HR. That is all. So it is just the inclusion of new modules that the name had got changed. But it has nothing related to whatever you learn in your HR.
Okay. Because even like technically also, even I didn't start up in MNC also. I just start up in a construction field, so
Okay.
not much technical also.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
So this would not be technical, so you don't have to worry. The only thing is that the bit of first 2 3 classes will be I'll be giving you full theory, which is a base, and once you're through that, then that's it. It's full of configurations only that we are going to do.
Okay. Okay.
So this is I just wanted to give you a look and feel of the instance. Now we were looking at manage positions. Let me go there. Let me go to manage positions and let me show you how to create a new position. Let's say I want to create a new position in the system. So a position is similar to designation. You can say, let's say I am working as a senior consultant in an organization. So that particular designation of mine, which is senior consultant, can be created as a position in the system, and I would be tagged to that particular position. So that is the meaning for position. Let me say I'm going to create a new position. You have an option here called create new. Let me just open this drop down from here. You have something called position. Just click on that. So here you see lot of fields that are aligned up one below the other. So we have to create a new position now. So there are some fields with some asterisks in the name. So these are called as mandatory fields. That is, any field with an asterisk icon means it is a mandatory field. It's a mandatory field, which means you have to store it. I mean, you have to maintain it to save this particular data. For instance, you would have filled up a lot of forms online. So there will be a lot of fields which asterisks, which means they are mandatory fields. Same meaning only here also. Any field with an asterisk is called as a mandatory field. You can configure what all fields have to be made as mandatory. You can configure according to the business requirement. We can configure that. So let's say there are a lot of options kind of a drop down from here if you see. So just don't take any of these into your head for now. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you how to save it up. So let's say I'm just going to randomly choose whatever comes up in the beginning, and I'm only maintaining the mandatory fields. So let me just scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Let me just save. There is a workflow. Okay. This is nothing but when we submit a particular object to be created, it is going for workflow, or in other words, it is going for approval. For instance, consider you raise a leave request in your organization, it goes to your manager for approval. So what happens there is that it is going for a workflow. That particular approval process is called as a workflow. Workflow is nothing but the approval process that happens whenever a particular activity or whenever a particular event happens. So here the event is nothing but creating a position. Let's say I'm just going to confirm it. So it's gone for approval now. So this is how we create a position. And let's say you want to do some corrections on this particular position. From here you can take action. Just click on this. I think initially you have to approve it, only then you can do that. Let me take any existing positions in the system, probably 1 minute. 3000. So look at this particular first field. the position code. This is a unique key that is used to identify an object. So for
Okay.
instance, you join in an organization, you're given a unique employee ID. That would be only for you, nobody else will have it. So why is that they are giving that to you? Because it should be unique. All your records will be tagged to that particular ID. Like that, every object will have a unique ID. Position is an object. So this is a unique ID that is used to identify an object. So let's say I'm just going to go to something else. I just want to show you some other operations that can be performed. So let's say I just go to this particular position. So from here, let's say this is another position that is created in the system. I have to do some changes to this. Let's say I want to fill up these fields. What I can do is I can take action. I can make correction here. And by making
Okay.
corrections, I can directly type in some description here. Let's say I am just going to maintain the description called analyst. Same description I'm just going to maintain. Let me save this. Now we will go for an approval. Okay, but I'm just showing you, I'm not going to submit it, but this is how you do the change. Later on, I'll remove the approvals and I'll show you that also. So
Okay.
you can just take action, make correction, and you can do the changes. Let's say I'm just not saving it. And there's something called insert new record. So what is that insert new record? So this position is created from 15th of January. Let's say from 20th of January, the position title is getting changed or the job code is getting changed. So how I can do? Let's say, let's consider the example that from 1st of 2017 you are working in Chennai, and from 1st of 2018 you are moving to Bangalore. So what is required here is the history has to be stored. That is from 1 2017 to 31/12/2017 you were in Chennai. Only from 1/1/2018 you are moving to Bangalore. History is required. The newest change also have to be done. So that newest change is done by inserting new record from here. So you can enter the effective date from which you want to do a change. You can proceed it on, and you can do a change. Just give me a minute. I'm just removing the workflow for now. We'll be looking at all these in detail later, but just give me a minute. I'm just removing the workflow so that I can do it and show you.
Okay.
Okay, so it's removed now. So let's say I'm inserting a new record from 1st of Feb and I'm changing the position title to something else. So let's say this is the change that I have done. I'm just going to save this up. So what happens now is that history is stored and the latest record is also there. The history is the first record of the object, which is from 15th of January, and then these are the changes that have happened from 1st of February. You can see the position title has changed, description has changed. So this is how you can create an object. You can edit an object. So take action, make correction will edit an object. You can just go ahead and edit it. The existing record for the same date, you can edit it. You can insert a new record with respect to a different date. Also, you can permanently delete an entry. So let's say I just don't want this entry at all. I just want to go back to this. This I've done by mistake. Take action, permanently delete entry. Yes, it is going to delete that record and the older record is going to be the active one. Are you able to understand what are the different types of
Yeah.
operations that you can do from here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is going to be how we are going to work on to the instance. It's going to be easy. You would now have the feel of how it looks like. It's very easy. You just have to navigate here and there. The options are very clear. You can go here and create new, and you can search for some things. How will you search? You have to search with a unique ID. What is a unique ID? Every object has a unique ID which is used to identify itself. We are going to search with that. So why do I have to explain you about this? Here is where the data models come into picture. What are data models? Data models are nothing but the models for various data that are present in the system. For example, when you created or when you were about to create a new position, what you see here is a series of fields in a particular order. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are not mandatory. Some of them are of type date field, some of them will be auto generated where you cannot maintain anything. Some of them are free text where you can maintain something. Some of them are dropped down with some predefined values, and this is the order in which it actually happens. So this is what a data model would contain. A data model would contain the structure of your object. What are the fields? What are the order in which the fields are present? Which are mandatory fields? Which fields are of type date? Which fields are of free text? Which fields are of type drop down? That is what is going to be defined by the data models. So why do we have to upload it into the provisioning to begin with? Because once we start working on to the instance, now we have started working on to the instance, we wanted to create a new position. This data model, only if it is already present in the system will we be able to create or see this. Are you able to understand?
Yes, yes.
So that is what is data models. Data models is going to deal with the structure of the various objects that are going to be managed in the instance. So let me tell you the various data models that are present in SuccessFactors Employee Central module. So the data models are different for different modules. As far as Employee Centrals are concerned, Employee Central is considered as 7 data models. The first one is called as the corporate data model. Second is called as the country specific corporate data model. Third one is called as succession data model. Fourth is country specific succession data model. Fifth one is called as HRIS propagation data model. Then we have event reason derivation data model. DM stands for data model.
I'm sorry, it was my network problem.
No problem. I stopped. And
Yeah, like you said, some DM you were telling.
DM stands for data model. I'm just
Data
giving,
model. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just writing it in a
Yeah,
short.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay, okay, that's okay. That's fine.
And seventh one is called as workflow data model. So these are the 7 data models with regard to Employee Central. Let me tell you what each and every of this data model consists of. So the corporate data model deals with the companies or the organizations or job and the pay structure. The organization structure, job structure, and the pay structure. So what is an org structure? So let's say we have started an organization. The organization will have a lot of objects to identify its structure. Normally, I'll tell you the different objects that forms part of organization structure. It is legal entity. The legal entity is also called as a company, the company's name. Legal entity, you may have business unit, division, department, cost center, location group. So these are the different objects that are used to identify the structure of your organization. Then job structure may have something like job function and job classification. And then a pay structure may have something like say pay component group, and then you have pay grade, pay range, Lot of things are there: pay grade, pay range, then pay levels, etc. There's one more thing, pay, there's something called frequency. So these objects are used to identify or make up the company's structure, the company's org, job, and the pay structure. So hence these objects are called as foundation objects, because they become, or they form the foundation of an organization. For a company, they are the foundation. The entire time we are going to work with an organization, the organization will have all these objects, their foundation type. You have to have all of these in place, to which the employees data will be mapped. Are you able to understand the corporate data model? So
Yeah.
these are the objects, the org, job, and the pay structures. They are called as foundation objects because they form the foundation of a particular organization. And this particular data model is going to deal with defining the structure of these objects. What are the fields? What order they appear? Which are mandatory? Which are date fields? Which are of what field type? You can add new fields. You can remove existing fields. You can have the fields in a way that the business wants to have it. Apart from the org, job, and the pay structures, you also have the event reason that are defined here. You also have the workflow that is defined here, and the currency exchange rate and yeah. So what are these event reasons? What are workflows? What is currency exchange rate? I'll come back to this a bit later. So this is the first data model, that is a corporate data model. And moving on to the second data model, which is a country specific corporate data model. This data model will define the same set of objects, but if they have something different with regard to a particular country, they are defined here. For example, consider this particular object, location. That is actually a foundation object which we have defined here. Now, if the country is India, what we know is we have something called pin code to add to the location. So all our locations have the particular terminology called pin code. On the other hand, if it is USA, it will be called as zip code, and if it is UK, it will be called as postal code. So what does this signify? The object is same. The object is going to be location, but if the country is India, the pin code the field pin code should appear. If the country of the location is USA, then zip code should appear. If the country of the location is UK, then postal code is the name of the field that should appear. It may have a particular pattern. Like for India pin code, it is 6 followed by all digits. It could be a particular pattern also associated with that. So the country specific corporate data model will define the country specific configurations for all the objects defined in the corporate data model. So in other words, those set of configurations which do not vary with country or which are common to all countries are defined here. Those attributes which are different with regard to the country alone are defined here. Are you able to understand the country specific corporate data model?
I didn't. I got confused. I didn't get this.
I'll show you. Wait. Now,
Oh,
with regard to corporate data model, there is a particular node called manage or get the job structure. This is where we would be working on with the corporate data model objects. So let me go to that particular node. Let's say I'm going to create a new location. So let's say create new location. I'm going to create a new location. So look at the fields and location. There are all these fields. These are the fields that do not have any difference with regard to country. The country is present here. So these fields or this particular pattern will be defined in the corporate data model. And look at this. There is a country here. Let's say I'm going to choose United States. I'm going to choose United States. So see what happens the moment I choose United States. Address line 123 city, country, state, a state with the states belonging to United States, province and a zip appears. Now, let me choose the country as United Kingdom. See what happens here? Zip is no more here. Zip is not appearing here. Look at the
So
states.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
going to be different to UK. So what you can see here is see the object is same. It's the same location, but depending on the country, the fields can be different. In other words, the configuration will be different with regard to the country.
Okay.
So that particular set of configurations which are different based on the country for all the foundation objects are defined under country specific corporate data model. Now are you able to understand what is going to be defined under the country specific corporate data model? So this will be under this fields will be under corporate data model because we don't see any change here if we change the country. But this changes. So this is what is going to be defined in the country specific data model. Okay.
Okay.
So then the third data model is the succession data model. So the succession data model is going to deal with 4 objects here. The objects are person objects. It will deal with employment object and it will deal with custom objects. And the fourth object will tell you what it is. So this 1 and 2, that is the corporate and the country specific corporate, will deal with the organization structure, companies or job pay structure. Coming to the succession data model, this will deal with us, that is the person object. So by means of person object, it means what are the fields for a particular person, what are the data that we are going to store for him, what are his employment related fields. For example, see here, from this action search you can search for people also. Let's say I'm going to search for this particular person for whom I am going to look at her profile. So let's say leave. This is a person object. So the person is also an object only here. So even though the person is in reality, you may feel that a person is not an object, but as far as the system is concerned, the person is still an object. That object also has data. So look here how the data is present for the person object. So there is a personal information tab or a personal information section where we store all the informations related to the person, like the first name, last name, middle name, some personal information. Then let me scroll down. You have some ID information, national ID information. You have biographical information of him, where was his birth, etc. His contact information, his email, phone number, his address, what is his residence, his dependents. So this is what is going to be defined in the succession data model, the person object. What are the different
Okay.
parts of data
Data
under
will be posted.
Sorry,
Like succession data model is a completely their data will be posted, right?
posted in sense we can make it.
Like on that.
Even this, we will be deciding what are the fields, what is the order, what are the type of fields, from where is this field reference from, which are mandatory fields, everything we will only be deciding on. In other words, the business is going to decide.
Okay.
Anything here, completely it is customizable as far as success factors are concerned. Completely everything can be customized to the manner in which the company or the business actually wants it. So that is what is going to be defined in succession data model. We are going throughout Employee Central. The 7 data model is what we are going to be seeing in detail. How to create each of these, how to configure it, how to customize it. That is what is Employee Central going to be all about. And
Okay.
employment object. So employment object is nothing but employment related data of an employee. That is his hire date, what is his first date work. So some employment related data of the employee, that is with regard to his employment, whatever data is stored. Custom objects. Custom objects are nothing but it is user defined objects. User defined. Let's say I have a new requirement. Let's say I want to capture the previous employment details of an employee. So that is completely new, which is not given to us by SAP. It is not there. It does not belong to our job pay structure. It does not belong to the person object. No, I don't see any previous employment history over here. It does not belong to the employment standard employment object also. This is something which I want to create. Some custom requirement. Always there will be a lot of custom requirements from the business. So that can be done, which is again part of succession data model. Okay.
Okay.
And the country specific succession data model is going to be the same objects, but if with regard to the country there are going to be changes in the fields, that will be defined here. For example, consider the national ID. So if an employee belongs to USA, he is going to be having SSN ID. If he belongs to India, he will have PAN number or Aadhaar number. And if he belongs to UK, he is going to have a national insurance number. Again, the formats are different. PAN number will have a particular format like the 5 alphabets followed by 4 numbers and then an alphabet. SSN ID will have a different format. So that is what is going to be defined under country specific succession data model. For example, see here, the national ID is United States here. Let me just edit this. Let's say I'm going to see, look at the option here, only SSN number is there, social security number. Let's say I'm going to choose United Kingdom. So try opening up national insurance number. So this is going to be different. So look at the format here. You should use this particular format: alphabet, space number, space number, space number, space alphabet. That will be the format for national insurance number. So what happens? Person object. What is the object? National ID. ID is a particular object. But what is different here? Depending upon the country, the field is different and the pattern is different. That is what is going to be covered under country specific succession data model. Okay.
Okay.
So for clear, these 4 is what I'm going to start with. I'm going to explain these 3 later. These are all functional data models. These 4 are those data models that is going to be dealt with the structure of the object. So I'm just going to start with these 4 to begin with. And what do we see now? Once we log on to the system, we can see that we are able to see a person object. We are able to see the fields. We went to manage or job pay structure. We are able to see the location object. So what do we need to be present in the system? We already need the data model to be uploaded, so that once we log on to the instance, we will be able to see that particular structure. So that is why we do this as a first step. First of all, we enable the features. So once we enable the features, we can see all the modules and the features that we have activated under each and every module. Then we uploaded the data models into the system, because once we go to a particular node, we need to see the look and feel of that particular object, how it looks like. And super admin is going to be a person like this with whom we logged on to the system. So that ID is essential, because we don't get that ID from the SAP when we get the licensing. We are going to get it from the provisioning, and with that help only we are going to log on to the instance to start working on the configurations. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop with this for the day, and tomorrow I'm going to show you, we are going to log on to the provisioning tomorrow, and I'm going to show you all the initial setup that has to be done in the system.
Okay.